The next part you want to do is cut 10 pieces of about 6-inch. This is called like cord string. This is called cord string. It doesn't really have a name on there, but this is the string that you're going to cut to attach the feathers. The next part you want to do, I usually like this circle to be like a circle, like symmetrical. So even though the middle where I began is over here, I'm gonna make my dream catcher like this. So basically this is where you figure out which way you want your dream catcher. So you're gonna attach these strings to attach the feathers. So when you attach these strings, you're just gonna find, because there's 10 of them, so and you can do your feathers however you want. This is just one way to do your feathers. So I'm going to find my middle point, which is right here on the ring. So I'm going to put a string right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, so my middle point's right here, so I'm going to do a string right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So for each string, I did a double knot. I did 2 knots. So I just tied it around the ring, 1 and then 2. And then the reason why there's 2 strings here is because you want the middle of the string to go on the ring, and then that way you have 2 parts coming down. The next step is to put nail glue on all the knots you just made, just to make sure that they don't come apart. The next part is going to be feathers. Is going to be picking out your feathers. Usually what I do is buy a pack of feathers, and then I kind of find a big working area where I could work with the feathers. You kind of need a big area for it. And I just dump them all out onto my area that I'm working on. Then I'm going to pick 20 feathers. Now you can lay your feathers out, or you could even use packing tape underneath the line of feathers to hold them so they don't fly away. You can do the feathers in any variation, but I usually like the ends to be small and then the middle to be the longest, to have the longest feathers. The next thing you're gonna need is a cup of water, scissors, brush on nail glue, and beads. We're gonna work around the dream catcher, so we're gonna start at one end and then put feathers all the way to the next end. And we'll start with this feather. The next part, we're gonna dip our fingers in water and kind of roll the end of one of the strings here. And then grab a bead and then put the string through the bead, and then kind of set it down somehow. And then you're gonna grab your feather. If the tip is small enough to fit in the bead, then you don't need to cut it. This one's small enough to fit in the bead, so I don't need to cut it. So what I'm gonna do here is get nail glue, brush on nail glue, and brush both sides about 1/4 of an inch up the feather, and brush both sides of the feather tip. And then I'm gonna get my seed bead where I want it to the end, and then I'm gonna kind of hold the end of the string and then push the seed bead up and then push the feather in, and then that'll grab. And then nail glue dries pretty quickly, but don't tug on it, just kind of like let let it loose. And then we'll move on to the next feather. So I wanted to show you what to do if your feather is too big to go through a seed bead. You're gonna get scissors and basically make a tip. You want to make it pointy, so just this is pretty small. And then I usually make a little spot on my desk area for trash, which is where I put the trash right now. So now it's pointed, and that should fit in a seed bead. You can actually do a lot of different designs. If you want, you could put longer strings, and wherever you put the seed bead, start at the top by the ring, and then you could put a feather there at the top, and then you could get another seed bead and put it like in the middle, and then put a second feather there, and then if the string was longer, put a third bead here, and then put a third feather there. And I cut strands of fox fur. I kind of measured it by just seeing how the feathers were, and then I'm gonna tie the fox fur in a knot on three parts of the ring. So I'm gonna tie a knot right here, and right here. Then you can add a feather charm. Depending on which way the feather charm is on the end, you might need 2 of these or just 1. So that way it lays horizontally. So you get one of these, and then you open it, and then you put it in the middle of your dream catcher. I used needle head pliers to put the ring in the middle here. It's right here. And then you're gonna get your needle head pliers, and you're gonna smush your ring back together. Then you're gonna get your needle head pliers, and you're going to smush it again, but in the opposite way. You can see the ring looks kind of like a fish. And then turn the fish so where you can smush it one more time from the mouth and the other end and the tail. And that should make a ring for you. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just strong enough to hold the feather charm. So I'm gonna get another ring and open this one. And then I'm gonna put this ring with the other ring. I'm gonna use the needle head pliers to do this because it's kind of hard. And then I'm gonna add my feather charm. And then I'm gonna smush the ring back together how it was to begin with. And then I'm gonna make a fish. Oops, okay, I'm gonna use the needle head pliers. And then I'm gonna make a fish like I did on the first ring again. And then I'm gonna smush the fish from the mouth to the tail with the needle head pliers. Then I'm gonna get the extra rope that I had from the beginning. I'm gonna get the two ends together and I'm gonna go through the middle of the dream catcher on the top on the ring. And then I'm gonna get this loop and I'm gonna pull the two strings through, and then I'm gonna pull this and it's gonna make like a knot. And then I'm gonna make another knot so it can hang from a nail or whatever it's gonna hang from. And then I'm gonna cut off my excess with scissors.